We are in TWC podcast number 61, which is pretty cool. And
Yeah.
I have David Garcia Suarez with me for a second time, which is super cool. We have a lot to talk about IGP in particular, but I think we need to catch up with other things. I'm curious, like I know you did the swimming, the crazy thing. So I'm sure people are not always interested strictly about dog stuff, and tell me how was that, and how did you tell me first what it is really this, because it's a really a big challenge, and
Well,
what it takes to prepare, and tell us a little bit about this, because it's definitely something we can talk about, you know.
is we have some life after dogs, not some. And for me,
Exactly.
always my sport has been always swimming. I have the nice environment around in Malaga, in the south of Spain. For me, it's very easy to come to the sea. Yeah. And well, I think 20 something years ago, suddenly I remember I was swimmer when I was young, and I started back. I started back. And for me, it's always like the way of relaxing. No, to it's a kind of meditation when you do long swimming. But
Yeah.
of course, it's very tough. And this year was very nice. This in swimming we have this. As long as you start doing more than 10 kilometers, it's a marathon swim, and this was a marathon swim. It's very special. In Spain, we have two cities that are in Africa. We have Melilla and Ceuta. They are bordered with Morocco. So you are. It's a cool challenge because you are in Africa. Actually,
Yeah,
you do the
you're in
swim in
open
Africa.
waters. I mean,
Yeah, very open. Actually, this year was really tough. Yeah, because the currents this year has been really crazy, especially in the last part. And I've been this year judging quite oftenly also the work and competing with our own dogs.
mm,
So I didn't have much time to really do a proper training. I have to do. I always say we do IGP, so we are really tough people. we, marathon swimming is just a joke compared to do IGP in the
what
environments
are
we have
what
to
are
do.
what are like the? I mean, there is some. I wouldn't say dangers or risk, but what is like when you're preparing for that kind of
This,
swimming? What is that you really focus on that you do well? Is it the endurance, or like what is the main concern when you have to do such a long distance?
yeah, when you have to do this long distance, and well, I'm not so young anymore, so it's very important to be aware of the possible injuries,
Mhm.
because it's this year I was able to do it in 3 hours.
Wow.
3 hours. Normally, if I am in shape, I'm not just being I'm humble, but I normally I do like 240 to 45. But this year was really tough, and I was very unprepared. And it was very cool because it's very interesting area. You have to cross like a fortress. It's the only fortress you can swim through in Europe, I think. And then you start
Yeah,
in the
you sent me the
Mediterranean.
picture. Yeah, that was very cool there.
Yeah, that's was very cool. And so you start in the Mediterranean Sea, then you go to the fortress, then you go to the Atlantic Sea, and then everything changed.
You
The
feel
water,
it right away, right?
wow, because the sea start to move really intensely. That's the part of the stretch, so it's really a lot of currents, and even the water, the temperature dropped very much,
Mm,
and and
that's
then.
gonna be a problem for me.
Yeah, well, it was this year was even 16 degrees in the water,
Oof.
so
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that was challenging. But well, you have to fight so you don't feel the cold so much. And actually, that's the good thing to be a little bit fatty. I don't feel the cold so much. And
True, true.
and then we have a very this year was impressive because we have a very strong currents. I think I sent you a video. No, the currents were
Yes.
crazy. Some you have to really grab against the rock and
No, no,
start
yeah, you're
sprinting.
close to like surfing, like
Yeah.
no, no
No,
joke.
no, that was really tough actually. And the last part was all the time against the current and a lot of jellyfish. So you have to be careful with the jellyfish,
Oh man.
the current. So yeah. So well, but these kind of things are like what we like in tracking, no? We like nature. So you everything is not
So
swimming. So
what are the chances to get stung by a jellyfish? I mean, do you have, I mean, because
yeah.
some are really nasty. I mean, I know
We
from experience sometimes it just for days you have skin problems, you know?
Yeah, the one we have here in the Mediterranean is a very small one, and
Hmm.
really is stinking. When it
Angry.
cuts you, really you can have problems
Oh,
because
oh,
it's a chemical burn, no? So you have really some friends have one of the friends have to quit because she almost hit she
oh
was
my
stinging
God.
in the mouth and she was doing like 6 kilometers already and just facing like a little bit the last part, but was I said this last part this year was terrible because everything is under current. So imagine you are running a marathon and then you have to start climbing a mountain for the end, no?
Right. So
So
the
yeah, that
current
was
really is, yeah, I mean, it's very, it kind of, it doubles the power you
yeah.
need to, yeah, it's your
You know
double fighting resistance training, really.
this year I think I burned like 2,500 calories or something like that just in that competition. So yeah, it was really tough.
How is it, how, see, like, I mean, I swim, I swim, but even when you send me the pictures, I go in my pool and I have, my pool's just like making funny laps, but I got me excited. But I'm thinking that, like, if I was to do something like this, my problem would be how do swimmers deal with everybody around you? Because I mean,
Yeah, well,
when you start as a group, you kind of you must kick each other here and there something, or how do you
yes.
spread out? How does it go?
Well, actually, the sea is very big, so
Right.
yeah, the rhythm at the beginning you can have some struggle. This year we were like 300 people, so the beginning
Okay.
was was quite challenging. And depending on of your spirit, I was not competing. I was just trying to finish, no,
Finish. Yeah,
to
yeah,
do
yeah.
and some years I tried to compete. This year just was my idea was just to finish. So you go easy, you go to the side, and you
Huh.
don't try to struggle. And I like to begin always like in negative, no? So try to be very soft at the beginning, warm up, and then start fighting when you really. I always feel okay after 1 kilometer. No, then is when I feel that I am warm up and then
Right.
you
That's
start. But
when you're like,
at the
oh,
beginning, you
now it's fun, right?
yeah. So some well the people that goes to compete they do a sprint from the beginning, but it's not my case by now. I
So
like
my
competition, but not this year, not this year.
right. What about, do you, like, when you do that type of swimming, do you switch styles or you just freestyle,
Oh
or
no,
how do you go?
always always freestyle because if not, you are really risking cramps. Because
Yes, that
no,
kind of
it's
the kicks are different. Yeah, you're right. Oh, I
no,
didn't think
it's
of that for a long. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, because
Mm,
everything changed when you are more than 1 hour. You have to start thinking of feeding yourself. You know that
right,
because all your energy reserve have to change to different metabolism, and also you have to feed yourself because all your gluten. it goes away. So you run out of glucose. So you have to feed. You have to even drink. Even it looks like crazy to be dehydrated in the water, but happens. So it's very important
Yeah.
you
And
drink.
speaking of this, what happens? I mean, like when you actually are running marathon, you can kind of stop by a restroom, a toilet, and go back. Well, how does it work in a water?
No,
What are
there is
the
no
rules?
there is no option for that in the competitions. You cannot even hold a boat or anything. You as long
Uh-huh.
as you
You
hold the
just
boat,
gotta go.
you are
It's
disqualified.
over.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow.
if you want to have some water from the boats, the organization was very nice. They only can throw to you. You cannot grab the boat. If not,
So what do you do as far as do you, I mean, because you need some energy beforehand, but you don't want to get full because we know swimming and having a lot of food, it's just a bad idea. So what is that preparation? Like right before the
I,
start, what do you,
The- I am for that. I like. I'm not really the type of sport people that really take care of the food or
uh-huh,
whatever. No,
uh-huh,
so
uh-huh. Okay,
even
okay.
the night before, we take some beer. And,
Some good
we do
wine,
we,
some
we
good,
do we do a
okay,
sport just for a way of living, actually. So when you are really prepared, of course, you have to eat 3 hours before so you have to try to fill up your reserve of energy. So
right.
you take the nice 2 nights before, you eat a lot of pasta if you can. These kind of things that bring power, so you have power storage. But
Mm-hmm.
it's I always believe more that when you do really endurance, you have to try to burn fat. No, this
Yeah.
level of medium to low intensity rhythm that you don't need so much carbohydrates, so you can you
And
can do
I
through
think
fats.
it's very, very important just the mental factor, like how mentally how much you want to put up and say no, I will finish it versus in the initial stages of feeling uncomfortable and you're starting to be like, oh, maybe, and then for sure you're not finishing, right?
Yeah,
Like you really
well,
need to be very committed to that you
because
will finish.
when they you start to have discomforts, because discomfort comes like in any marathon, no, when you are
Yes.
like 6 kilometers swimming, you say, hey, what the fuck I'm doing here? What
Your
I'm
brain
doing
is telling
against?
stop.
Yeah, I am fighting against the cramps in my legs. I am fighting with the jellyfish and with the currents. So yeah, but well, it's the fun of the sport, no? If we think
Yeah,
it's like in IGP, if we think about the difficulties, we don't do it. That's for
yeah.
sure.
That's very true. That you kind
That's
of, I mean, that's when you think about it, that's exactly why you're doing it because of to challenge yourself and
that's
and
right.
and ultimately there is a lot of good that comes out from that. I am
Well, in
surprised I
this in
still,
this in this kind of long distance, it's a little challenge for yourself. It's in our dog sport at the end. I always think we don't compete. You do your performance. You are not fighting against
yes,
one close to another. So you just do
yes.
your training and your work. You try to do your best, but it's not really a kind of competition. You cannot do nothing to improve against. So it's just your strategy to have the better point. But here you can compete sometimes. If you're in good physical conditions, you really can compete. In the short term, I am quite competitive. So I try to always, if I am fit, I try to compete. But
Hmm, hmm,
people
hmm.
in the 50s now, they are very fit. And sometimes we have better time than people in the 30s. So it's really funny stories, actually. Sometimes like with my time if I compete in the 30s or in the 40 category, I can win. But in the 50s,
Right.
I become fourth or
It's
third or something
difficult.
like that.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
yeah, well, that's. that's good. I think when we come
I
to
mean,
this
it's
age,
nice that you're still like I mean, my, like my left shoulder is kind of, I mean, I have really pretty severe arthritis at this point. But the good thing is that I can still swim and I can even do freestyle because of the fork, So
yeah,
as long as I am still I'm questioning if I can do a long one, you
yeah. Well,
know.
it's a matter of
But
training actually, and for me also for the people in our sport, when do we do helper work, is a very good exercise because your shoulder are very protected
yes, the movement, yes,
and
yes,
then actually in this year I don't really have any lesion, and sometimes I have to do a lot of dogs also in protection. So yeah, I think it's really good sport to cover and to prepare because sometimes for us in the people in the dog sport we do protection work, but we don't warm up, we don't do nothing to prevent. We just go, no,
yes. And
and it's very.
even if you just go to the gym, if you don't know exactly what you're doing in the gym and just lift weights, you don't let your body do the right movements and
Yeah,
the flexibility goes away. And swimming is just
well,
I
it's
love it. I'm
you know
always jealous when I hear that you do this stuff.
nice. You're invited there. You
I
must
know,
try
I
to have
know,
a challenge and we do something together. That would be
I
really
know.
fun.
I
So yeah,
yeah, I can't even remember when. I mean, I used to swim not too bad. Like I think I could do probably 107 or something, 100 meters. It's not,
nice.
I used to swim pretty good, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
The
Let's
nice thing is open water is different, actually. Some,
exactly, exactly.
Sometimes it's funny. I have some friends that you go to the swimming pool and the performance is very low, and in the open water we fight together. But if we go to the swimming pool, it's totally different.
Different
It's
games.
really
Yeah.
different swimming.
I
That's
had,
nice.
because my parents used to work overseas and um, they back in, I mean, when I was really young, and we were on the other side in the Arab countries on the Mediterranean side. And I used to snorkel a lot as a, you know,
Nice.
teenager. Uh, it, it- Man, I have so many funny stories with that because, you know, I mean, when we grew up, the movies like Jaws, they were,
Well,
those were
that
real movies,
yeah,
And there was one
that
time,
that has destroyed the joy of the water for many people.
yes, yes.
A lot of
I was
people.
gonna I was gonna drown myself one time
Wow,
because of two dolphins.
really?
Yeah, they just came, and I mean they were as big as me, and the one kind of really wanted to I mean very gentle, but they were like around, like really like just brushing with me. But then I see the fins and everything, and I freak out and I start swimming in complete panic. And guess what? How I'm swimming? Because complete panic. I'm just making a circle. And it's
Oh,
way
wow.
out. I mean, I don't see the beach or anything. Like I'm way out there with a harpoon and flippers and whatever. I wore myself. I was gonna die because I was like just thinking I'm swimming
Yeah, yeah.
so fast, but
That's
I'm
not a
making a
joke. Eh?
circle.
That's not a joke. Yeah, actually, yeah. But yeah, it's really cool. Actually, yeah. If you see dolphins in the swim,
Right,
you really,
right. If I had the right mindset, it would have been actually a very cool experience. Because
oh,
they choose to come and interact, and
yeah, yeah.
who knows what they were thinking? What's with that human? What
Well,
is he?
we had that in Malaga now, some now and then. People in our swims, they are watching dolphins, And for
Mm,
us, it's really, but I haven't been so lucky. But yeah, if I see them, I would really, I think I would enjoy a lot. But of course, at the beginning is something not new for you. So your mindset first thinks about Jaws.
right,
And
right.
so, yeah,
Let's switch to dog stuff. Let's go.
nice, nice.
Like what I want to talk about is like I I don't understand. I mean, I don't know if I understand or I don't understand, but why is this confusion and why so many different like the evolution of the IGP sport in particular? It
Hmm.
seems that it's very tricky how to even say it because on one hand, the mastery of the training and understanding how to create a behavior in so many different ways, it's really, we're getting really not good, but excellent at that. But at the same time, we start to replace the main reason of the training. And then the judging at this moment in obedience and in protection, I think tracking is it's not as controversial as obedience and protection. But in obedience and protection, there is definitely a very strong divide amongst trainers and judges of what we want to see, and and can we find differences between different performances and how different the performances really are. Would we, you know, sometimes for the same performance, a competitor gets 96 points, and then very much for exactly the same performance, they get 88 or 89 points. And there is a confusion. There is clearly a big confusion to some people. Now, on another hand, I believe that there is a other part of trainers that they are not confused. They are just choosing that this is you know, the way they train is the right way, and it should get the kind of points that you know, the maximum points. And the reason I have you again on the podcast is because you're one of the, you're not the only one, but you're definitely one of the judges that see and judge in a very specific way. And that specific way confuses some trainers, makes other trainers angry or irritates them.
Yeah.
And then there is another group of trainers and judges that really see what you're doing and appreciate it and are hoping that this continues, that trend continues. And as I said, you're not the only one. However, there are not too many. Um, I don't know where to start. I'm sure, like you, now that you've judged quite a bit, very big events, and there is always some level of controversy around it. Even when, you know, oh, that dog should have had, it always has 97 points or 90. For sure, it's an excellent obedience. But in your eyes, it makes 91 points or 92 points. But then what is interesting and actually cool is that when the dogs get lined up at the end, they still rank in the same ranking. It's just that they are not in the excellent categories, but they are a little bit lower.
Yeah.
To me, this makes sense. And I'm gonna kind of give my take on this. But why do you think, let's start here. Why do you think there is this, is it confusion first of all, or is it just demand and people insisting that it should be this way and not this? Like what is your take on the modern, like the judging that's happening today?
Yeah. Well, actually,
Difficult one.
no, well, actually, it has is becoming actually nothing has changed really in the way of judging, but now we are considering the emotional part of the dog, the social connections, the behavior of the handler, and the technical expression of the dog. So when you analyze all that and you rate all that, and you really have a clear picture what an excellent means. The problem is when we are um, really not thinking that the dog can do an excellent, and we give excellent to a very good. Very good is
Mhm.
described in our rules like the correct exercise, but a correct exercise is very good,
And
not
very good.
excellent.
After all, it's not a bad
No, it's
position, right?
actually.
I mean,
I
come
think
on.
we have already talked about this. For me, in the modern way of analyzing the work, the exercises, a dog that gets very good, I would love to say 90 is excellent,
Mhm, mhm.
because then I can be right in the points, because at the end, what makes the difference, you see in the big championships, sometimes is half point, 1 point.
Correct.
Eh? So between when you make the analysis of five disciplines, like an FMVP, and maybe the winner is only point 0.5 away between each other. So if we are giving points like, hey, why are you so strict not giving points? Because I have to be honest and try to save the points for the real excellence. I think it can come. If I give 4 extra points, would be easier for me. you know,
Right.
I give 4 extra points to everybody. I make my calculations, and at the end, I make +4, so everybody's happy. But
Yes.
we are,
But then
we,
we're
we,
still reaching the limit of 100 points. And then we're getting to the place where you just said that the the dog that makes 97 and the dog that makes 98,
yeah.
rightfully so, the one makes 98, but the actual difference in the performance that day is much bigger than that 1 point or half point, correct?
But and I think we have seen that this situation historically. That you feel that maybe the winner was not the real winner.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
So if we are consistent and very deep in the analysis of the exercises, and then we make it in category, and then we translate into points, that's one of the things we can also face. We can face how to translate our qualification system into point. That's something that we have too little narrow space. you know I see a lot of things, but then I have to come to a qualification. But this qualification only let me play in 1 point, half points. Is because people think about points. It never takes points. We never think about points in the good judging. What you do is qualification. It's good, it's very good, it's high good, it's medium good. It's if there is some mistakes, some incorrection, some signs of discomfort in the dog, you have to take it. And
Right.
we are now in this also, these two different, very interesting but also very dangerous moment. So if we want to respect our sport And if we want to survive, we have to do this analysis. We have many fields to solve. I agree to my to and I can understand sometimes the confusion because we have so little space. Sometimes you give a dog 88 and one dog 84, and you think, wow, this is not 4 points different. It's
Hmm.
not 4% different. No, it's maybe 20% different. But the rules are described like that, and we must be honest with the rules. Yeah. For me, what is a little bit sad is if we don't really take the challenge. Now is a really nice moment in our sport, and it's a moment of evolution. And of course, when you do the evolution at the beginning, the results are going to be different. But now you can see better expression sometimes in the handling of the handlers, and also better expressions also in the mindset of the dogs. So I think we are in a very nice and interesting and more complicated for the training because now we don't want to do all only to we want to see dogs as described in the rules as an utility dog needs to is that a dog that is communicating with the handler, not only in the hope or expectancy or avoidancy of some mechanical stuff. No, so we want to have the whole thing because when you have an utility dog, what is going to really matter is that the dog wants to please you and wants to work with you, even
Yeah,
being a very strong dog, you know. But
yeah. Let's talk a little. I mean, let's elaborate a little bit more on this because I think this is probably the kind of the core conversations that we need to have, and kind of how like if let's say we pick the obedience, and you know there is there is almost at this moment two different paths if you want to look at it that way. The one is again kind of that mechanical, more mechanical, but at the same time I know what I'm going to say now, it's going to piss off 90% of the trainers, but I hope I'm just sharing my opinion, and I think we need to share our opinions and challenge each other's ideas, and ultimately that's how we grow instead of saying, well, I don't understand what you mean, or no. I'm gonna try to kind of see if I can like the that kind of what you said, a little bit of mechanical, but also not meaningless, but the purpose of the obedience gets replaced by the dog is not necessarily engaged with a purpose for that the ultimate task of what they need to do. They are just trained to do a certain behavior, but if the dog has the ability to converse and talk back to us, if we ask them why they're doing it, they wouldn't be able to say anything more because it's like, well, I'm doing it because my toy's right here, or because that's where I'm getting my food, and
yeah,
and
yes,
and in this way, the the other side of the other option and opportunity to train, I find more interesting. I wouldn't say if it's more difficult or more challenging, it's just more interesting and more direct because the same behaviors, they emerge from the dog's drives and the instinct, and most importantly, what you said, that social interaction. That it's clearly
yeah,
we're doing something together. I'm not just blindly following a target, being food, being a toy, or something like that. And I think
yeah.
when
So
when if a judge can recognize it, then it makes sense to make a distinction and say, well, which one do we like better? Now it's different when the training is so good that you
right.
cannot pick it apart.
And it happens very oftenly because
Of course.
I totally agree with you. With the technique has evolved so much. But imagine one very simple example. you have a dog. We do some different disciplines, no? But imagine you have a dog that do a super nice dumbbell, but then one day you need your dog to bring you one shoe.
Mm, mm.
Eh? That dog that maybe have a super nice technique in dumbbell work doesn't know how to bring you something that is not just a dumbbell.
Yeah, but that's where I guess the people that listen and that would disagree with this will say, well, I don't care about the show. This is a sport.
No, yeah, yeah,
And the
but
problem I have,
the problem is really the basic of what we are doing. We have this philosophical problem. What we are doing in our sport? We are doing an
right.
sport. Are we doing an sport? No, we are not recognized as an sport. We are not a proper sport. We are not in the list of the sports, you know,
Mhm, mhm.
because we have maybe we could do it, but not we haven't done that work. We are sure, and we love to say, and we are sure that we are doing a sport, but we are not. Eh? You know, in
Yeah,
my if I go to my village and
I
say, "Hey,
think
I
this
am,"
is a good start to. I mean, I think really this is where the conversation has to start.
yeah. So
What are we doing with what is
what are we
IGP?
doing?
What is
Actually,
Schutzhund? Right?
that's right. So are we an sport? No, not real. We say we know we do, but we haven't made this the really the steps to create an sport. So if I go to my mayor in my town and say I am practicing an sport and I need facilities, the mayor will look the list of a sport and they will tell me no, this is not an
It's
sport.
not here.
Not here.
Yeah.
So this is one of the biggest issues we should face. The community of dogs lovers, actually, dog sport. And second, we haven't proved that we are a selection program. Neither. Are we? We haven't proved scientifically that we are doing a selection program. And we haven't
Yes,
proved.
because we.
And
But you're so right. Because we like the whole community. We're kind of. This is a very fundamental. Like we have to have a fundamental objective, and we don't have it. Seems like, right?
yeah,
What
for
what
me,
are we
it's
doing?
really one of our really weaknesses. We know that what we do is good for the dogs and good for the selection. We know 100%, especially me and you that we work with normal dogs. I my 90
Normal dogs
percent of
meaning
the time,
pet
ni-
dogs and with
yeah,
people
because
outside the sport.
because you can misunderstand that what the dogs that we have are normal. No, no, we have really nice dogs. The normal dogs, the mental capabilities, physical capabilities, resilience, motivations, capability of learning are totally out of these dogs. And we have wonderful dogs, and we have a
Very true.
wonderful program, and we have a wonderful sport, but we are not recognized. And then we can have this situation as unluckily Austria had, that then a stupid politic come and say, hey, this is bad because you are doing harm to the dogs and we are
Mm.
helpless. Eh? Just like that. How doing something so nice, so good for the dogs, so good for the selection, so nice sport, we are so weak.
Yeah,
Yeah. So for me,
interesting.
should be really one of our really concern. No, not really.
Priority. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So and also in the judging, for me, it's very important. Now we try to follow these concepts. We want to improve the dogs, not to keep the dogs. We do really take the challenge, and now the program in the last rules, I think is totally in a nice way. We can improve, of course. There is things to improve, but and things that we can check better, but we have really nice and very, very complex and interesting program. We need very complex mentality dogs, because we have three disciplines so different, and we need to have the skills, and we need to have a really free, and the dogs show us that he's free in the trials because he's in 10-meter line and totally
Yeah,
free in the rest, or even free even in the tracking. No, so the dog can choose if he
yeah.
wants to stay or not. If we put in our program what we consider normal to normal dogs, to really normal dogs, they wouldn't be able to face it. That would be really over the limits, like by really,
Oh,
really by far,
yeah,
by really,
yeah.
really far. And we are not even recognizing ourselves. But we are in that evolution. No, before we have dogs that were very tough in the old days, were very tough, but were very strong. We have Suchung, we have really dogs that are good for the police and for the army. For me, is something we must not forget. We don't want just obedient dog. We want to have very strong dogs that can be very obedient. Yeah,
Guidable dog. Yes,
yeah,
strong but
yeah.
guidable. Of course.
So, but sometimes the techniques are for dogs that are not strong.
Yeah,
You
but
know?
but even the techniques, I would even say that the techniques, the whole systems of trainings are um hmm, like I'll kind of go around it and get back to this because I think that's gonna hopefully make sense. Like there is, I mean, everybody now is familiar with UFC and martial arts and actual real fighting to where you get knocked out and you may go to a hospital and you're really in the ring, really, really fighting. And you're training with the skill of how to win a fight. This is when you fight and you train for real how to fight. And then there is the other option. And I don't know how, I know you have it in Europe as well, but I don't know how you call it. But it's like in the States, we have the American pro wrestling, which is like there was just yesterday one of the famous stars, Hulk
Ah,
Hogan,
yeah,
he
yeah,
died,
I think.
But basically what it is, it's very fake, prearranged script of fighting.
Yes.
Like you basically like this,
Yeah, yeah,
and you die, right? and
yeah,
and there is a lot of training that goes with this, and again it's a script, it's very highly orchestrated and it's very cool to watch. And if you've never been exposed to it and you're 13 years old and you watch it, you're like, wow, this this could be real, but it's not. And it, that kind of the pro wrestling stuff, it's pure entertainment, and there is a lot of time and effort to put this quality training so you can fake it so it looks really, really, really real. But
yeah.
it's not.
It's it's a nice comparison.
You
It's
know
really
where
nice.
I'm going with this, right?
Yeah, totally.
And so when we get back to dog training, we have so many different ways to create behaviors, but we lose the meaning of the why are we doing it. And then you have a dog that looks at you because it needs to interact, it needs to stay connected. And we have a dog that looks at you without the need to connect and interact.
Yeah,
So, as a judge, if you can see it, I think you are obligated to make a distinction.
of
Now,
course.
as I said, in the American pro wrestling fights, if it looks so real, there is nothing you can do. Then they are equal or maybe even better. But the moment when it's obvious, there should be a distinction. Simply because we we have to ask the question, what are we doing? Is this entertainment? And are we in this fake kind of reality fighting? Or are we trying to create a real interactions?
Yeah.
Let's take blind search, for example. I've been thinking so much about a lot of stuff, and so we have a dog that goes around the blind and is really like this. And there's nothing, right? In
Yeah.
my opinion, this should not be encouraged because clearly the dog is looking for something else. He's not looking for a decoy and to apprehend somebody. He is looking for, I don't know, a ball on a magnet or a balloon or something, but it's not looking for a decoy there.
Yeah, because
A-
the
And and in
dog.
my opinion, it's almost if the dog goes around and doesn't look, I think it's harder for the judge to say, well, did the dog really check or no? Versus, well, this dog is looking for something, but it's definitely not looking for a helper in there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
These are the
this.
problems that I have. And on one side, again, it's very attractive and it's very cool to train it, but we're losing the meaning of what are we training for, right?
Yeah, it's as said, it's in our philosophy mindset what we want to do. No, so I think we need everything. We are in this moment that we need everything. We need that we have to create a proper sport. In this proper sport, the pointing system, the evaluation has to go deeper. So we need to have more tools, to be honest, and to be able to really make the category into the qualifications into points. So it's something to really sit down, no, and try to evolve in that. And also, we need to prove that we what we do is good for the dogs, and
Mhm.
we need also to prove that our this is really a selection program for the utility dogs, because now, and you know and I know, some dogs that we have in high level competition wouldn't be good utility dogs, and we have this
Correct.
situation. We are starting to have this situation that some forces, police, or armies don't want dogs from our program. And
Very true.
we are,
Like that's so true because again, I mean, man, I don't want to remind myself how old I am,
uh, welcome.
but but when I started in the sport, the transition from a shoot country dog to being a military or police dog was
It's
just
nothing.
this little, was
Yeah.
just this little. And the beauty of this was that what we were trying to do is we were trying to say, okay, you're really in a fight drive and you're angry. How can we control you and how we can have both in an optimal picture? And the modern solution in training kind of lost that because we are deciding to fake the seriousness and have the control and not risk the challenge of how to really have it in more pure form, right?
Yeah. But well, I think it's in the mindset of the program, is to try to evolve that. We need dogs that have that seriousness, but with better self-control and better social abilities, no? Now, before, in the 20, 30 years ago, to have the level of dogs that we have now sometimes in protection, you couldn't have a social dog at the
Mm,
same time. But in some dogs, we are achieving that, but we don't really have the clear tools to make a clear difference between those dogs and the fake dogs. No, that we could. It was very nice example from you, like this fake fight or real fight.
mm,
No,
mm.
so we should and you and really the good the good judges they see and we see a good helper sees and a good competitor see, but sometimes we don't want to see.
They're
You know
afraid
what I mean?
they're afraid to point it
Yeah,
out. And this
I
is a
always
problem
say,
too.
no, like in the system of training, no, nobody's going to to shoot their own feet. No,
Mm, mhm.
if I
Yes.
start punishing the way I train, I am punishing myself. So that's one of the points, no. But as I said, we are in a very very difficult moment, but really challenging, very interesting. If we face the challenge, we will grow, and if we don't, that sometimes I have that same idea. I don't you know I don't like to be like or like the mean guy,
Mm,
sometimes in the
mm, mm,
judging,
mm.
because it's not in my way of being. You know me, so for some
Right.
years,
Right.
I think is but I really are in this challenge to improve. We want to improve what we are doing. We have to really struggle, and
So
we
how
have
do we
to.
improve? How do we, I mean, is it a education? Like what can we do like to
Yeah, it's a the
like
rules are.
how can we forcing is not the right word, but how we can excite trainers to kind of shift back a little bit to actual more purposeful training instead of okay, I
So
have the
technically,
behavior and it looks like a real thing, but everybody know it's not. How do we come back a little bit, at least a little bit, to
yeah,
start to
that
come back?
that's really one of the. That's why also sometimes people can get angry, of course, because it's you have to change totally mentality. You have to change totally the structure of training, and sometimes even you have to take the type of genetic, because
Right.
now we see dogs that cannot handle that self-control, that they get rights, they avoid, they escape, they get motivated, but they have no self-control. You see in so many dogs in the
But
healing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was just gonna say, but this is the problem. I think this is like a very, very interesting problem because it's almost hard to say, is it the dog genetics or is it like let's take an example. When I grew up, like I mean, at school, we would get in fights. I would come home with a bloody nose frequently, you know, and but I knew how to take it. There is kids now that they get like just scolded, not even touch, just scolded, and they crumble. But it's not necessarily because they are weak genetically. It's just how the environment around them
Yeah.
is. And it's the
But
same with the training, I think. Sometimes simply the training prevents the dog to grow and become resilient. And sometimes it's the genetic, and that makes it even more complicated for a judge and for breeder to navigate
yeah,
and find out, right?
well, actually, you see very oftenly, no, the problem and the risk is that the way we judge influence so fast in the genetic, because the time of evolution, if a dog, you have a new generation in 2 years, no? for our kids, we are talking generations are much, much longer, and the genetical influence is not so be so clear. But in our
Mm,
dogs,
mm.
especially because of the genetic of the dogs, you know how fast they can, the variability even in the litters and the selection, how fast the
Yes,
steps can go, no?
correct.
Because we have a litter with six puppies, eight puppies. That from that litter we choose, and then we do another jump. And so in 10 years we can have five generations,
Yes,
and the the systems or the dog that fit in the systems can model the genetic. The way we analyze the dogs in the judging can influence in the genetic, and we
yes.
and you, I'm sure, because you have so much experience as breeder, you are open your mindset, you are open the gene pool to different dogs that are coming out of IGP, because
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
think what you see in the IGP gene pool now is that you are missing parts.
Yeah, even if you're not missing parts, it's more difficult to be certain that what you are seeing is what it is, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, so because you have to do that filter even for breathing is even more difficult, no?
Even more
Because
important, even more
yeah, because
important.
now you have to filter the training. You have to analyze the training, the life, and then take a conclusion. Because at the end, this is phenotype, it's not genotype. You just see the genetic of the dog plus the environment, the training, the handler, the everything we were talking. So when you want to breed, you need to know very clearly the genotype, not the phenotype,
Yes,
and you have to
I
work with
mean,
the phenotype.
absolutely. I mean, and kind of what you were saying, like I mean, let's just take a what? Let's take boxer. Let's take a boxer today, what the boxer looks like, and genetically, and their qualities, and physiologically, and everything. I know. I think it's without a debate that if not even a lot of people, but enough people put the effort to revive the breed, within 10 years, we will have
Yeah, yeah.
we will have them back. This is the beauty
Well,
of if we know what we want.
yeah, actually, you're talking for one of my favorite breeds. Actually, when I started training, I started with boxer, and I
Yes,
don't recognize them
it's a
anymore.
shame. It's a shame.
Yeah, because they were so brave, so tough, so full of energy. And now, unfortunately, I must say that boxer I find sometimes are not boxer for me anymore. Yeah, so
But
yeah,
even
yeah.
if you start with the worst of the worst within 10 years through selection and
Yeah.
smart, you have them back.
Well, actually,
Uh,
it's the really beauty, the beauty in the German Shepherd in the Malis actually was like that. The program was the weakness of the breed and try to make it bigger, no?
yeah,
And so
yeah,
what was
yeah.
the problem of the Belgian Shepherd? Oh, lack of nerves, not solid, no good grips. What is the Belgian breed now? you need
Yeah.
you need that rock, you need super grips, just totally the opposite of what was the problem at the origin of the breed. So of course, if you do a big program and really big effort, you can change. But you must be able to have the focus on what we are changing. And now we don't have that so clear anymore. For me, the evolution now is in the we have wonderful dogs, but many of very very oftenly you have dogs that cannot hold their drives. They cannot really have this power of self-control, and
Yes.
that's genetic. That's is in the psychology is considered like a muscle, the self-control, and that self-control is something you can improve by training, but also there is a big part of genetic, and also with these social capabilities. that we need dogs that work for pleasing, that have a really big self-control. And I think now is the evolution, no? The evolution now in obedience, when we analyze, we want a dog that is really communicating with you,
Yes,
but with good
that
motivations
social connection,
and
as you were saying.
with the self-control to be in the right position. So for me, we are very nicely in this direction, no? So because before we only many years ago we had dogs that were very submissive, were correct but very submissive. And then we wanted to see happier dog. And then we have dogs that were very happy, but very incorrect,
Yes.
you know? And then we have dogs that are very happy, but correct, but faking the connection. And now we want to see the whole communication. We have to have a dog that have good motivations, but they hold that knowledge and self-control through social connection. So we
Yeah,
are,
yes.
for me,
And
like
and
in the
and
right,
understanding why am I doing what I'm asked to do, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
the
Like, but
purpose, the purpose.
it is in the progression of the let's defend because we defend this in the sport, but we are doing super selection for utility dogs because you
Mhm.
have a dog that can handle the whole part of his brain. He has social connection is one part of the brain. He has motivations, drives, self-control, resilience, adaptation. We check so many nice things when we really analyze deeply our program, but if we don't want to go on in this analysis, then because it's the recipe I want to follow, but then we are not evolving. Yeah.
Right.
And I think we are in this nice moment of evolution. And if also, for me, match with this idea of having better utility dogs, because you need a
Hmm.
dog that is listening to you mainly. Hey, I need you to guard. I guard. I need you to search.
Right.
I search. I need you to bring me that. I do. I need you to stay stable even in an airport with a slippery floor and very difficult surroundings. I do,
Right.
and what we do is a wonderful tool to create these dogs. We need the physical part, the health part, the mental part, and the drives part. And we want to put everything together. And if we don't take the challenge, okay, then we are not complying our philosophy of purpose that we should really, for us, it should be important not the points, but improving the quality of the dogs.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is a very serious debate, actually. I mean, I'm sure you know. It's like I've been in few different kind of meetings and conversations very recently, and it's like, well, is it a sport? Is it a partially selective and breed selection, and is it like a utility component? Like who are we? Like we don't have, we're kind of losing identity. And what you were saying, I mean, everything that you say is kind of like, like, I mean, even with the stroller, we go here and then we tilt it so far back and maybe we try again. But as long as we are doing this, I think we're still trying to move forward with the middle. And I
yeah,
hope that right now we are a little bit more on one extreme that like I mean, imagine a border collie not doing agility, but actually doing what they're supposed to do, doing sheep herding. The way you train the dog, a border collie, to herd is by using its natural instinct and the social interaction. You're not tossing food to convince them to go to the right or to the left. nothing wrong with tossing food, but you almost lost the meaning. You kind of lost the purpose of what it is about.
Yeah, but you know what? With that kind of dogs are super interesting, and it's a when you analyze them, the mentality also in that dog is amazing. The work and the work was based on the results, of course, no, in the functionality. Then we take this dog out of that functionality. We take all the evolution of the work, and then you have dogs for whatever agility, obedience, and you
Yeah,
have super dogs.
yeah,
They are like ones that like you see the numbers on this sport. Some now and then appear, not the dogs, but the work, the genetical work that these dogs have done is impressive. And what I I
hundred,
ha-
no question.
I also have border collies myself.
Oh,
Actually,
no, no,
is
I highly respect them.
yeah,
I
yeah.
highly respect
For
them.
for me, all these dogs that have like if you see a good hunting dog or a good herder dog or whatever is based in utility. Uh, is something really really amazing to see and to respect
Yes,
and and for those dogs sometimes education is easier because imagine if everything we have to do is just in protection for our dogs.
mm,
We
right.
you don't need another motivation because the protection is there. No, what they most
Yes,
love to do is there. No, so yeah, it's the type of motivation and the possibility to have the control, and then we have these dogs that are just not like in border collies that you see that this sensibility so high that sometimes you can fake that you are doing everything positive, but
right,
we know is not real. No, this problem also we have around that is people just faking positiveness, pure positiveness, but it's not real because you have these social dogs that can be a correction for this kind of dogs is not even a bad look to your dog. So,
correct.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
there is that whole other thing that, yeah, I
yeah.
don't even want to
So
go there because that's a whole
yeah,
other
because
problem.
but it's the moment we have to face, no, and
Yeah,
so we have to face. We want to evolve and be respectful with the rules because the rules are clear on this. The rules are searching for utility dog. The rules give us the framework to work in the positiveness and try to reach the best harmony possible through the training. No,
so if you have a crystal ball,
oh.
where, how do you see the future? Where are we going? Not where you
If
wanted
we
to go, but where do you
no,
think
but
we're headed?
for me, you see, I am really afraid for our activities.
Yeah,
I'm starting to be every time less and less positive.
yeah,
I try to be a very positive person, but if we don't wake up and we really don't fight to have utility dogs and we want to stay in this faking
yeah,
ideas, then we are prone to disappear. We are prone to disappear because I think the society needs our dogs, needs our selection, needs our knowledge, but we haven't improved. It's not,
mm,
and maybe we go too late because in the all these animalist welfare laws that we are having in Europe makes close to impossible to really sustain the training, the
yeah.
honest training, because
Europe is
I,
so different, man. So different.
yeah,
Like I don't like sometimes I just don't understand how people cannot come together. You know how we started the conversation today with the IACP and that organization that we have here. Like there is a need for such organizations in Europe. Even like there
I,
is a bad need for something for some organization and community, not a IGP sport thing, like a overall organization that stands for or at least challenges all this ideology driven, sometimes really nonsense that everybody submits to.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I mean, the stick
this
hits, like the stick hits, that was just a big nail in the coffin. That like talking about fake fighting and reality, there was no reason not to try to stand for this and say,
yeah.
It's okay to have it. It really, it's okay to have it, and educate and explain instead of just because even though we don't have the tickets, that's not gonna make those extreme people happy. Nothing will make them happy. They will keep going. I know they will keep going. And IGP, I don't want to say it, but if we keep this momentum, IGP will be gone. But guess what? Next will be agility. Next will be just any dog
Yeah.
training. They will not. They don't stop
Well,
unless somebody says stop.
for me, the dogs themselves, they are at risk because the dogs
You're
has been
right.
always the dogs have been always our companion, for doing things together. If if we don't do that, then you can substitute a dog for a sheep, for a goat, for a rabbit, and then you don't have a carnivorous, and then you
Yeah.
don't need to feed them with another animals, because for some fundamentalist animalists, if you have to feed your dog, who is more important, dog eat or your dog? If you go to the deep philosophy, you don't have the right to have a dog that eats another animal just for
Right.
fun, because you can substitute a dog for a rabbit or for a
Very
goat,
true. Very true.
and then we don't. So the dogs themselves are in the long term, of course, like going very far in the philosophy extreme, but if you can consider that actually, no? So yes, for me, is you did very nice example of this faking fight. What are we doing? No,
Mm,
like
mm.
this. How is the name in English for these
It's
fights?
called American Professional Wrestling
Uh,
or WrestleMania, or
so
but it's
what
a
a lot of
big
people,
entertainment, and it's
yeah,
big
yeah,
money in there. I mean, bigger
but
money than the actual fighting.
of course, but what we what do we want for IGP? We want that, or we want the real?
Eh, My point,
And I think
that's the
that
conversation we need. All of us, we need to have that conversation.
yeah, that was a very cool example, actually, very and then it's and very real. A lot of people don't. And I speak with some friends, and they just want to fake. They don't want. They just want that. They want to do that,
Yeah,
but not really for I'm sure for you, for me, when I have a dog, that if my dog cannot really cross that limit and be and really utility dog, I am not really satisfied with him. I love
right.
him. I recently, I will not tell the name, of course, but I had this dog. It was my dog, but it was not a utility dog.
Well,
It's
like there is few examples that are very easy for people that are listening to us and are not quite understanding what we're talking about. And one would be, let's say you try to teach a dog to play ball. You can, especially if it's a working dog, that has the innate genetic predisposition to chase and catch things. Instead of using that innate predisposition and just simply throw the ball and encourage them to chase, which most likely they will anyway, you decide to shape the behavior by using food as a
yeah,
reward for something that is already rewarding on its own. So You will have the dog look at the ball and then click and treat, and then eventually, little by approximation, you create a retrieve, but that retrieve becomes an obedience exercise. It's not a
Yeah,
natural behaviors
yeah.
anymore.
It's really a change of conditionings, no? I
Yes.
I sometimes say about that. Remember when the people start with these clicker ideas? They did seminars with chicken. So I
Mm.
think, and
Yes.
we must not be confused and not try to do chicken training in our dogs, no?
Right.
Because
Right.
we
Right.
we are
Another
losing.
big one, another really, really, like really big one. And I talk about this, like I have like at my school for the dog trainers, we have a whole lesson on this. That there is so many interesting experiments with dogs naturally seeking eye contact. So in they're I mean anybody can look them up on YouTube or wherever. They're all out there. One very interesting experiment they did, it was they put three or four people in chairs. One is blindfolded, one has a bucket on their head, one has nothing, eyes are open, and one has whatever, but basically only one person has the eyes that can interact.
Yeah. Mhm.
And everybody has some food in their hands. But the question is, they let a dog to come in, and which person the dog will choose to manipulate to get the food. And of course, uh, over and over again, they're like, I can talk to you. I see you and we can interact. Give me some food. And ignores everybody, by just naturally. Then they did another experiment. They would put like in a plate a piece of food and leave the dog in front, and they will look at the dog, and the dog wouldn't touch. It's obedient. And then they will
Yeah.
close their eye, and a little time goes by, a little more, and the dog just kind of goes hop. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you know that it's very natural that they seek eye contact, and not just eye
No,
contact, but they
I
interact through that
But that's something we have done with the selection in the dogs in general, like a species.
too.
You know,
Yes.
it is something that the studies also you see how big the evolution in that even you can a dog can recognize your pointing better than a chimpanzee.
Right.
eh?
Right.
So
That the same thing.
that is
But
something that we have evolved in the quality of the dogs, and I am always saying that we must improve that even.
yeah,
So
exactly.
it's our moral duty to our dogs. The moral duty to our dogs, they don't have natural selection, so they have an environment, and we have to adjust this naturality, these qualities to the environment we are putting the dogs, no? And now with the good selection, how many of our dogs have problem with the storms or with the gunshots or with the
Mm,
fireworks, And how many from dogs
yeah.
out of these programs have really they really have very big issues actually. Yeah, a lot of problems. It's now and then before when we started,
Yes.
even the gunshots were something that some dogs now you could find now and then dogs that have that sensibility. Nowadays, how many dogs have problem with the gunshots?
Very, very true. Very true.
Yeah,
And
and
but
and
this is on the other side. We we hurt our sport and the dogs that are in our sport with the jumps. Because
Mhm.
look at the ring jumps. They never change. They're
No.
still the same as they were long, long time ago. We keep making it easier. We keep making it more difficult, more acceptable for those that are not capable to be part. And that affects the selection, right?
I totally agree. You know, we have like this uh, when you work with dog, you have to do like I can think right to my dogs that they can solve and grow and be stronger, or I can be negative to them and start to weaken in the system.
Yeah,
No, but
yeah,
what at the end I weaken the whole thing. Every time is going to be less and less strong, less powerful, less healthy, less because
yeah.
like of course we the old ring sport they never needed any x-rays.
I know, I know.
Yeah,
Even
nobody.
the craziest thing about it is that even dogs that had some mild dysplasia, they were still 11 years old jumping the jumps.
Yeah, of
And
course.
and and then there is the question, well, what do you do? Do you use the program or you don't, you know? Um,
Well,
let's shift a little bit to something else that I kind of am interested to hear your opinion because as a competitor and spectator, I see it and I I'm confused, but I'm curious to see, even if you are comfortable to talk about it, because I don't want to put you under pressure on anything. I'm talking about the dumbbells and the lines, that
yeah.
whole decision that came. How do you feel about this? Like
Well,
it's almost guaranteed that when you throw over the hurdle or over the A-frame, it's almost 80% certain that you will be off the borders.
yeah, for me it's we don't see really big issues because of this actually. Now we have almost 1 year experience, no, with this new thing. Well, I think there is not really a big thing about this, but there is a little advantage with this idea for the people that is good in aiming. If you are good in aiming, you don't have
For
to
sure.
repeat,
That's for
you don't
sure.
have to wait. So if we want to do very sportive, no, but it's not really one of the biggest issues for me in this. In we, I think we have bigger problem with the going away of the stick hit.
Yeah,
That
that's no
matters me a
question
little
about
bit
that.
more.
I
But
guess what the lines, what irritates me is this mm, almost unnecessary dead
delay,
time that just you,
delay
yeah,
time.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes. Um,
yeah. Well,
and
like
and then depending, I'll tell you another problem that not it's not always a problem, but it can become a problem. And let's say let's say it's raining and you have 3 days of competition and you put the dumbbell always on the same place, then it starts to make that specific area very different and difficult from the first dog to the dog later on, as far as the pickup and everything on the dumbbell.
you know the thing is that we want to create an sport that have similar possibilities to everybody, but
Yes.
it's so difficult because then if we consider in like in these different little differences, then we have to stop with tracking because
Mm,
tracking is
correct.
so big difference between one moment to another, no? So
Yeah.
helper to try to be for me one of the discussions we have to have with the helper work now is much more difficult now because we need very special helpers today,
Yeah,
you
we
know.
took the weapons away from them.
So they must really transmit. You have to filter the personality, not only the technical part. You have to
Hmm.
have dogs. You know, no, it's you are as helper. You can influence the dog, not by
Hmm.
your
Hmm.
movements, but your abilities to really transmit, no, this pressure, your this energy. So now we have this problem, no? That the dog helper can fake the movements or they can feel the movements, no? It is
Yeah.
with my helper, we were very proud of him, and but he is a fighter from the beginning. He's in the fighting sport, so even as person you talk to him, he transmits you, this
Yeah, he
kind of
has the right
intensity.
energy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you mean.
And the helpers we all like have that, no, have that special, sometimes not in the technical part, but not sometimes we are focusing too much in the technical part, but now we need an extra. No? So for me,
Exactly.
now we have this situation. The dumbbell, well, I'm not super happy with this idea. I think there is some disadvantage depending on the person or the luck, no, when you throw the dumbbell,
I mean,
but
you know what
not
I'm
not really a
thinking?
big.
What I'm thinking is I'm okay with the lines, and I see how we need a little bit of consistency and everything, but we can have just to increase the chances that people will throw it within the box. We can
Yeah,
at least
do it a little
just
bit bigger.
just like 50 centimeters on each side. That
Yeah, yeah,
already will increase the success rate, and
yeah,
it
yeah.
still maintains that.
For me,
It's really
I like.
difficult to hit it.
Yeah, for me the thing is, if we want to be like a sportive, if we are going to play for somebody, then we must play for everybody,
Yeah. Mm.
or
Do you
or
think?
nobody or everybody, no.
Yeah.
But so for me, all I like, it's sometimes it's the question of losing time, no, in our
Right.
idea
Right.
of evolving the sport. Sometimes we need to save time because we need more participants. But in our sport, sometimes.
Yes. Yes. But then, man, now you got me thinking. Now I'm gonna bring a whole different twist on this. Oh, listen to this now. Listen. So again, let's go back in the old days, as we say. You put the dog protection. You put the dog on a down, and you go and you search the helper. And you
Mhm.
will say, well, it takes time. Yeah, it takes time, but what do you see? You see a dog that has to control itself. That is he getting distracted? How is he maintaining the control? Like you see so much in that downstay when there is a little bit of extra there, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we took it away.
Well, it's like this evolution, of the rules. For me, one of the evolution we could face is like, for sure, in the big competitions, is like the rapport of the judges, because that sometimes takes longer than the
Mm, mm,
performance of the dog itself.
true.
You know,
Yeah, it becomes a,
so
a mini seminar.
it's something that at the end, when you can, if we put the ideas clearly, like, the clear explanation of the things, almost the people don't are not really interested of your qualification, but or it's a way of blaming the judge for the qualifications. but
Right,
uh,
right.
but at the end, if we are in a sport, important are the points. When we are in a program of selection, then you have to give this explanation. And nowadays, unlikely, sometimes you need to still keep on in the education, no?
True.
But if you
Yeah,
see, okay,
yeah, yeah.
your healing is not excellent because the dog was looking in the armpit and forking, and you need some body help for the turnabout, and all these kind of complex things in the like in the free healing, and
I,
the dog
I
was
think
not
they need to be
comfortable
said.
when he was in the
I
crew.
think what yeah, I think when this
Yeah, but
is
the thing is sometimes is a little bit surprising for me that so expert handlers don't know
don't know.
what is happening.
Yeah,
When you know,
yeah.
because some yeah, because again we have the nice example. We want to fake what we are doing, or we want to see a real connection, interaction, and education in our dog. No, so
But don't you
I
think that
firmly
it's
believe that we what we are doing.
don't you think that it's important because of that for you to tell to educate to some degree to say, well, that's kind of what I'm that's why, instead of
Yeah, but what
there are
happens.
times when judges, or not judges, but competitors say like, oh, that judge doesn't know anything. And they come to that conclusion sometimes because there is not enough explanation. And it's of course, as a competitor, it's your obligation to educate yourself and to understand rules and but when so many are confused, then what do we do?
Well, because now we have this problem of information. Actually, the information are so spread, sometimes are so spread in some techniques that are not the fundamentals. What we are, the complexity mindset we need to see in an utility dog to express that we are watching an excellent, no? Because as said, just
Hmm.
the dog performing is good, yeah, but the complete mindset is the very good.
Right.
The technical completeness is in the very good, but in the technical completeness, we are analyzing the social relationship, and we are analyzing the motivation and the openness in the dog, and the behavior of the handler and the technique in the dog.
So just as you're talking,
So
I'm
if
certain that so many people wouldn't know what exactly you're saying. And and that's why I think that there is somehow we are lacking somewhere in educating everybody. Not that I have a solution or idea how to,
But
but
sometimes is curious sometimes it's curious in these people that really complains, and they are very angry to me. But actually, it's something. It started to be a little bit heavy in in the judging, because for us, when we judge, we are losing time, we are losing money,
yes,
we are,
yes.
sometimes and you are losing friends. Now and then you find very interesting people, and I think you do with your heart. You try to be as honest and as clear as you can do, and at the risk all the time to lose. It's a situation, it's a lose-lose. You always lose. eh? But we love it, actually. I think if we believe in the evolution, I don't consider nobody, myself, in this, but I think in the right direction in the judging, if we are brave enough, is when we can grow in the quality of a
Yeah.
dog, in the quality of what we are doing, and in the quality of in the future of the genetic. And a very nice judge always told me that you are judging what you will see in the future. No,
Mm, that's
so
so true. Wow. Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I think it was so clever, but now, before, there were more respect towards the judges, and but nowadays the, in the social, no, that's a global thing. No, we think we know more, and we don't respect like the big figures, like of the in the judging. So it's it's okay. I respect this concept because it's the way to grow. Maybe I don't understand because I don't have such a big knowledge, but I have to try to grow.
Right.
No,
Mm.
so if if and this I think it's general in everything. No, everybody can critique politics or education or science or whatever without having
Agree.
the really deep knowledge. No, but that
Yeah,
that's
agree.
something
Agree.
that norm is a little bit we have in the society overall. It's not a dog is not in the sport of our dog. No, it's something that you can see in many situations. No, and we have to face that. No, if we want to evolve or we want to just stay as we are.
Right.
No, and
But it
if
needs, I think it's important, just like right now, how we are talking. I know some people will really agree, some will be very confused, and some will absolutely disagree. But this is not that it's good or bad. I think this is actually an opportunity for all of us to keep talking about it so we can have some kind of universal understanding and approach what the sport is, where we want to go, and agree to some extent of and hopefully there is some comments and
you know
conversation starts.
I totally agree. I think the people that really mm, is deep in this idea, not in the sport, but evolving the dogs. I really think our IGP right now is a super tool to evolve dogs, to have better dogs. We want better dogs. I don't want to keep dogs. I firmly believe that we are going to have better dogs through this program. But we must face the complexity. We need
Yes.
strong minds but very flexible minds. A strong mind is not that you have a strong dog that is hungry. It's a dog that is very strong in the nerves, is very strong in the self-control, very strong in the drives, very able to create
Yeah.
knowledge, in the frontal connection with the drives. We share that passion for the really the science behind this, and we really do mental roads in our dogs, but we need the genetic that really help in this because the
Yeah.
complexity of dogs that we have now, if you try to train any other dog to do the performance we are doing with the super dogs we can find now and then, but for me, our responsibility is to improve even them, or
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
or we consider that we have just achieved the limits in our progression. Do you?
No. Yeah. No. Yeah, and stay on track and not lose the purpose. You know what? Like I just as I was listening to you right now, and I always remember. I don't know. I don't even think it was a podcast or we were just talking with Harry Archon, and we were talking something within the same. We had the same conversation, and somehow the BH, the BH test came about, and he said something really deep and simple at the same time. I was like, okay, so what do we have in the BH? We have the obedience portion and the traffic portion, and basically we want to see who the dog is. And he gave this example of, so there was going to be a trial and they're getting ready for the trial, and the guy comes with the car, opens the door, gets the dog off leash to the clubhouse, puts him on a down, go gets a beer. Meanwhile, there is all sorts of people around, sits down, have a beer, and basically he's like, that was the BH. There is no better BH than what I just see. That's the whole idea of having, why are we doing something, right?
it's like I said, it's in the we need to have dogs that are well educated and do a sport. No, I always insist very much in our people, and you see very oftenly dogs that do a sport, but they are not really educated. You
Yeah.
can see
Yes.
sometimes this
Yes.
reality. Yeah? So
Yes.
for us, it's the purpose. If in our dog sport is that we check first the education. The dogs are well educated and they are social compatibility and also this social adaptability. And then we can do even a sport with them. But we must be able to have really fundaments, no? Like in the
Yeah.
obedience, I need to be able to communicate with my dog, not only creating conditionings. No, we are not machines of opening operant conditioning, but we have to create connection, communication, and from that we can create the conditioning. But you see in many, sometimes even as judges, you recognize the mechanical training they have done, no, the muscle memory they have created
Hmm.
in the
Hmm.
dogs. Now, I will not say names, but I have lately this situation that I was watching really a fake reality, but so well done that I have to keep it in very good, no, because we at the end we also respect the effort, no, of the
Yeah, I
trainer.
think this is really well said. Like you have to respect that, and sometimes as a judge, some judge would be thinking that they're doing something very good by giving some extra, but actually it's
I
ultimately a
for
very, very unfair to everybody, including the person that gets the present.
I
Um,
I I think so. I think if we want to if we want to respect what we are doing, it's so dangerous when you think this idea, no, of giving extra points to make people happy.
yeah.
Oh, it's so risky. It's because if especially for people, sometimes I have this complaining for people that can achieve the excellence. It's something I don't understand. But why do you are like this in this level of upset? But because if
Mm,
we respect this idea, you are the one that can get in the excellent. You just change the things, take the information I was humbly and offering you in the judging, and then you can be excellent
right.
and I'm very far away from the rest. If we give 3 points for the people so they are pleased in this, then we don't have room enough. It's something I don't understand. I think if as far as we face and we try to see everything, no, if I see pressure, thank you. I didn't know that it was pressure, but I so the dog was in discomfort,
Yes.
maybe in the seat,
Yes.
and then sit. Oh, and the dog is but very fast, yeah. But the dog was not feeling well in that command.
Yes.
No,
Yes. Or
so
or getting the dumbbell really fast, but taking 5 steps more
yeah.
forward instead of coming back. And yeah,
So
that's a whole different topic.
but the, but we have. I really believe we have people that can achieve it, and for me, it's a little bit shocking. Even these people that can achieve it sometimes are the one that blame because they want more extra point. But if
Hmm.
I give you the extra point and I give to everybody, then I am risking to be much more unfair because then when you
Yeah.
come with a really 97 or 98, I cannot give you 102.
Yeah. Yeah. That's such a, I mean, everybody in theory understands that, but then,
Mm, I am having this feeling that this nice example. I think people want to live in the American Wrestling Federation
mm, right,
more
right.
than than in the real utility dog, no? But
And then you
I
have
think
like
I think
I
our
don't
moral
yeah.
duty, our moral duty is as judges is that we are our program is as said in the rules is a utility program. No, we must see the reality in what we are watching.
Yeah, there has to be some consistency, and I mean, we kind of should wrap it up, but I I don't know, like with the judging, that there is we have problems. We have problems with judging, and forget about okay, there is the problem of understanding everything that we've said so far, but then there is a whole other set of really problematic judging where a dog, I don't know, in whatever being tracking, obedience, protection, but it makes a mistake, and the mistake is a serious mistake. Maybe it's a faulty, maybe it's sufficient or insufficient, and whatever. But then everything else goes well, and the judge really likes the dog, and because he really likes the dog, and it assumes that well, if he didn't make the mistake, it's excellent. So therefore, today is excellent points. When that happens, and that happens very often, that
But you
I
know,
think destroys the reputation and the reputability, and even the competitors are looking at each other, and it becomes a problem because, well, let's say I'm that person that got this gift. What do I say? No, no, I don't deserve it. Right? You cannot say that. Uh, it's such a complicated situation, but it's so easy to be avoided. Like that's what is frustrating. That it's like that's a simple rule. Like that's just pure mathematics. You cannot, no matter how much you like or not. You know.
yeah, but the thing we are facing also sometimes we are blaming. I consider myself. We are blaming the judges, but we are not professionals. We are
Mm,
amateurs. You want me to be professional? Okay, pay me $10,000. I become
mm,
professional. No, every time I come
interesting.
judging. Is we are demanding a level of concentration intensity. We've been talking about this sometimes, but I really
Oh
like do
no,
it for
no, yeah,
fun.
yeah, yeah. Oh, absolutely. No, yeah, yeah, yeah. There's no question. Like, I mean, human mind cannot. I mean, that's understandable. We're not
Well,
talking
but
about
with
some
no, no,
skip
but
where.
I I I don't agree because with training, that portion of variability comes even lower. Because it's a mental training. No, it's also for me one
Mhm.
of the challenging parts. No, you have to be focused and concentrated, and
Yeah,
and you have to educate your mind for
yeah.
judging. And for me, it's something nice and interesting, but it's very
It's for sure
complicated,
not for everybody.
and it's something that we do not even for free, just with
True,
expenses. We put our time, our money in that.
true.
So and we are demanded to be super professionals. Okay, let me be
Mm,
professional.
mm.
I would love to, no problem. But no, nobody, no, we are not considering. We are making
Yeah,
sometimes in the education of the judges, and even the training of the judges. If we want to create an sport, we have to do deeply and narrow it. So it's for me we have this match between the number of judges, but also the pressure we put in the judging, you know.
right. But
But if we want to go like in the professional way, to really then have a group of professional judges. Yeah.
Maybe,
and then you can
maybe,
blame.
maybe,
You-
but maybe it's not a bad idea when you think of the importance of it, you know? Maybe it's not a bad idea.
well,
However,
it's
you know what I'm
I
saying? It's
said
not.
we are in this interesting moment that we can
Mm,
face and discuss all of this.
yeah.
If our dog is if we really do the good part because we are in this moment we can disappear or we should
Hmm.
grow, no, and
Evolve.
improve.
Yeah.
No? So
Yeah.
if we make an evolution, we must make an evolution in the systematic and in the analysis to translate qualification into points, and it's something we can face in the professionality of the judging, in the professionality of the helpers, and in the professionality of the track players, and
Track
because
players,
now,
man, that's a whole other thing with the track players.
yeah,
Oof.
yeah. But it's so important, no, and it can make such a big difference. The difference between
Interesting
a good
sport we have. Very, very,
eyes.
I guess
No,
also what makes it interesting is all these complications and factors that all have to,
remember
they all
at the
play a role. It's
at,
crazy.
at the beginning of the conversation, I told you like marathon swimming is just a child
Right.
game compared to
Right.
IGP. Especially like for me that I do IGP really is very far in the south, very difficult conditions. For tracking for us is a nightmare. For finding fields, no, where you can do the training is a
Mm,
nightmare because as I said we are not sport, so you cannot go and say, hey, you have to borrow me the place. No, no, you cannot come into a football field with dogs because are dirty animals. What?
yeah.
So,
But you're still better than like Austria, right? I mean, as far as the image of the sport and
well, Austria was very unlucky, I think, with the government, but we have
yeah.
this type of government in Spain, that could happen to us. That's
Hmm.
that's the sad thing is we are so weak, we are so exposed to this not really one political camp. Oh, okay, I'm going to
Yeah.
make myself famous. I'm going to say, oh, to have doggies for biting people is so bad. Yeah, it's forbidden. So it's what? It's like if you go to the karate and say, no, no, karate makes your kids aggressive. No, okay, I forbid karate. It's okay, nice.
How is it, David? How is it with the police dogs? Are they allowed to bite or like
In Spain,
what are
no.
the regulations with the police
Yeah,
dogs in
yeah.
Spain?
They in Spain is very strict. We have this law that guarantee more the rights of the bad people or
Yeah.
the than the
Yeah.
really the protect actually. So yeah, it's if a dog really really use the power, then you have a problem. You have a problem for sure in Spain. Yeah,
What
even
about
like like
um
the like like the police. Well, my family comes. All my family are policemen.
mhm.
So they even as policemen today, if you need to.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So complex, eh? So with the dog, it's really, really difficult. But this now in some other parts of Europe, they I know they can use it and they need it, and it's a very nice
Right.
in
Right.
between tool, no? Between
For
I
sure.
can use the a little bit, but the dog is between the gun and the physical confrontation, no?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
some, some sometimes saves a lot of problem, but you need to be able to use them, no?
Yeah.
But
Without a
yeah,
question.
but it's really difficult in all these in all these situations. So yeah, that's why also like for backing up the our purpose, no, that we are selecting really utility dogs. Then
hmm
we are more weak to explain because even the politics, no, no, you don't need dogs for biting people, no? Or, yeah, I need dogs that can protect my family in some moments. But it doesn't look like we have that right anymore. But that's really worrying, actually. But yeah, yeah, or that's another thing, no?
Right.
This situation that we must really see what if not, we are doing just like a sort of agility of program or fake program, no?
Unfortunately.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that looks like, but it's not. But and the problem is sometimes we are selling that, no? To say, no, no, the dog is not really biting a human, he's just faking and he goes for the sleep. And we
Yes.
are taking that analogy that way for explaining what we are doing. And I think it's wrong.
It
Eh?
is wrong. It is wrong.
Yeah.
It's a good attempt to try to,
Well,
you know,
it's like
save it,
for
but it's not the right one.
I I I think we should go through honesty.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
why do we need the stick hit? Because we want to see dogs that are physically resilient,
For
physically, not
sure.
only psychologically resilient. No, so because in the real situations, if you have a dog that is going in the firemen, people that is saving somebody from a collapsed building, you are going to have to
Yeah.
come down with a dog that maybe is going to feel fear, is going to be discomfort, and some objects can fall down on the dog. And you want to have a dog that is able to overcome that situation. And what
Yeah.
we do, we can check that possibility through the stick hit, but
Yeah.
we haven't explained this need and this connection, no, between the both parts. And
It
yeah,
can be
I think
taken even, it can be taken even a step further. We can, like, I can justify in a, if I have enough time, even the conversation about improving training methods. When you
so
have a stick hit, you're challenging and you're twitching the dog into high arousal, some aggression possibly, which can lead to disobedience. So the art of getting obedience without breaking the dog, getting control over a dog that really doesn't want to do the obedience, that skill directly can be applied into pet training. When you have a dog that is very aggressive or whatever, you're really like the training in the sport. It's almost like you're, that's where you get the knowledge and understand how you can control behavior of dog, a pet dog that is really not willing to comply, but you gain control without breaking the spirit or torture or abuse the dog, and
yeah,
do it intelligently.
but that's really the amazing, no, when we go deep in what we do in our sport is really it complies all these situations. We really have dogs that are able and we want the whole picture, no? A dog that released by training, but also released by social connection, released. They don't have this kidnap of emotion that block the mindset,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that that's what really we check in our program, no? And
yes.
it's amazing
It's a
how
beautiful.
how how complex how complex mindset a dog that makes IGP that is able to do this contradictory thing, even being social, but still being very strong. What we search is very amazing. That's why if
Yes,
we go deeper, of course, we are in a moment of change. And in this moment of change, every time you start a moment of change, the sometimes the points come lower. But we are with this sort of rules clearly from 1920. 2019, no, is when really
Hmm.
a little bit more evolution in this is coming. No, we have some years in this idea, and I think we are seeing nice evolution, but still we are on the way.
I hope so.
Yeah, yeah,
It
well,
will be very
it's
interesting to hear. Hopefully, people, start some conversation because of this conversation, and maybe some comments all over the place, and we get to talk about it more and more because we should. Um, I know it's late there. What time is it? You're already.
no,
It's gotta be.
I
I
am
mean,
a,
for
I,
Spanish people, you guys already. It's time now to go out and have dinner, right?
yes,
It's the classic
that's really
Mediterranean
that
style of living.
well, actually, it's surviving mode because in the middle hours you can do nothing. When you are 42 degrees outside,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have to stop. And if you want to enjoy social life, and then you start eating now at 10 at night.
yeah.
But but it's like a normal, no? In restaurants, sometimes
I
they
know.
start working now, and then you sometimes you come 12 at night and you still can eat, and
Yeah,
well, that's not so common, no? And also in Malaga is more like that because we are just in the like very touristic area, no? So we
yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
this
What
nice
is cool
environment.
is always because when it's not like just young people, you see families and the kids and everybody's like out, and it's very cool.
Yeah, well, is yeah, I said the climate helps actually, no? When
Right.
you have raining or cold, it doesn't invite you so much, no? But we have to change our timetables because in the middle hours now, especially these summers are, oof, we have a very hot summer right until now. So yeah. For dog sport
Yeah,
is very difficult because for tracking, like from May, I we it's you really risk the heart of your dog
out
if
of
you go
question.
tracking. So
Yeah,
it's very
yeah,
difficult.
yeah. The same in Florida, but yeah. Cool, Dave.
Well,
That was a good one.
was
Thank you. I
nice.
know we
Always
kind of try to make it few times, and it's a little schedule and whatever, but it's always
well,
always nice to talk about dogs and sometimes not dog things like just what we did because life is not all dogs. We, I mean, even if we try very hard, we're always gonna get back to talking dogs, but it's always nice to, you know,
yeah. Well, actually, sometimes for another sport, you can have even lesson for our sport. No, so yeah,
true,
it's also
true.
sometimes a good investment. No, but yeah.
Cool.
And yeah, thank you
Thank you.
for
Thank you.
calling.
Thank you.
Always really a pleasure. Always talking to you, and really feel
Thank
honored.
you. Maybe, well, not maybe. We actually, well, hopefully, I don't know what your schedule is gonna be, but we're going to Spain for the FCI, so hopefully,
Yeah, well,
maybe you're free, and
you know, it's
I don't know how far it is from you. We're probably quite far, actually,
one
right?
1,000 kilometers. So yeah,
Jesus, yeah,
is
that's well, who
but
knows?
yeah, well, our plan is to go for sure. It's
Cool, cool, cool.
w-
All right, David.
something we don't
Thank
miss.
you, my friend. Thank you so much.